Alex Honnold Free Solo Climb Taipei 101, and I want to talk about it. I'm your host Seb, and if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to leave a like and comment down below. But let's go ahead and start talking about the climb. Now, a quick disclaimer is that I did not watch this special live, but I did go ahead and rewatch it just recently, and I can tell you that the tension and the stress was all still there. And it's hard to believe that I knew the outcome, like I knew he wasn't going to get hurt or anything, but man, just seeing him do the climb and some of those tricky parts had me feeling not very well, I can't lie. I want to talk about what I liked, what I disliked, and then what I thought about the whole events in general. And first thing I want to talk about is that I loved the description and the build up to the climb. Them showing the building and the different sections and explaining why it was going to be so difficult at each part. It kind of helped build a little bit of tension towards each section because you knew that once you got through one, that there was more challenges to be gone through in the second part of it all. And I thought it was funny how they kind of introduced it as like a COD mission where, you know, like, oh, you got to do this phase first and then you move to phase 2, phase 3, and then the final boss is like the tower top. And I just thought it was pretty cool. I also really enjoyed the breakdown and explanations that the crew gave to me. Once I started listening to what they were saying, I was kind of seeing what they were talking about and like his movements and patterns. And even sometimes I was picking up and asking myself like, oh, I wonder why he's doing that weird toe clip-on thing to the side of the building. And the crew was all like, this is actually a great energy saver move thing. And I was like, oh, I never would have thought of that. I just thought that he was trying to grip on it weird. I also thought for all of the fan bases that don't know anything about sports in general, I just thought that the breakdown was really helpful in bringing it and feeling it more human, because at the end of the day, this is a guy that we were watching. Like, if he had fallen, like, everybody would have seen this special go bad, and like, fuck the special. I just cared about making sure that he didn't die, you know? I didn't want to watch that live. I don't think anybody wanted to watch that live, and so it's good that he didn't. Alex was a big part of the success of the special too. I mean, he was super enjoyable to watch, like his interactions with the fans and his interactions with the team. I thought it was really funny, especially because I felt like at some of the parts he was trying to clip farm, and maybe not on purpose, like maybe that's who he is. I don't know the guy personally, but it was just so funny because at one point his headset died, and then the camera crew ends up turning it back on, and he's like, oh, hey, I missed you so much. And then he says, yo, can you turn my tunes back on? When he overcomes his first real big obstacle in the dragons as well, he ends up climbing to the top of it, and everybody's cheering him on, and because, you know, that was like the first real big test, and he just stands on top of it and he goes, like, what a great day in Taiwan. I'm just like, dude, you're literally climbing this tower and you're just like ore farming at the top of this thing. Like, give us a monologue, why don't you? What was also really cool to watch were some of the snippets in between the climbing clips, especially the one where he was giving his training monologue, because they were asking him like, oh, what are you going to do to like prepare for this? And he says it was different because it's all about stamina. It's not like he's trying to get his 2-rep max on a bench press. He's trying to climb this tower. And he even says that too, where he says, I'm going to be doing these little weird like Lego hand grips along the side of the tower as I'm climbing up it. I'm going to be doing it hundreds of times, so I got to be training for that. And you see him doing pull-ups with that weird grip thing. And then at another point too, it cuts to him like having 2 fingers and holes on like bricks that are just like hanging, and he's doing pull-ups with just 4 fingers up and down. I was like, dude, I've heard of badminton training, but I didn't know like skyscraper training was this intense either. Like, that was crazy. What I didn't like about the special was some of the videos and graphics that they showed. I just felt at some point they just got really repetitive and were kind of more of a marketing or showing them as like an act, and I didn't really like that part of it, just because we understood that, okay, yeah, this is the scary section and all of it's really scary, to be honest with you, but this is scary because, oh, this is more muscular or this one's more steep. I get that, but they just kept reiterating all of those parts at the beginning of every section, and I just thought that kind of took away from the human element and made it more of like a show, and I didn't really appreciate that. I mean, maybe some of the fans thought it helped provide hype, but I just thought it kind of took me away from it. And then I don't know if this truly counts as something that they did wrong, but I wish that they didn't allow a full access to the building while he was climbing it. For me, it was more just the fact that people are uncontrollable. Like, you can never know what someone's thinking or what they plan on doing. And thankfully, nobody did anything crazy. But I just thought that them being so close to the glass, like, they could literally, like, touch through the glass with him, you know, do, like, the little ET thing. And, I mean, it's cool and all, but what if they started banging on the glass? Or what if at some point he just forgot that, he was so locked in and he sees someone and just jump scares him? I was just thinking of the worst possibilities, and maybe that's not fair. But I just wish that they put a little bit more restrictions. Like maybe even if they put like one of those like cloth lines and just said like, hey, you guys got to stay back from the glass. That way he wouldn't at least be jump scared, and that way no one could like bang through the glass on him. I think that would have been more helpful. It would have helped me feel a little bit secure. But I mean, he was cool with it, so maybe it's not that big of a deal. But I just wanted to state that. And then I just want to go ahead and give my thoughts on the event. Some people thought it was really amazing, and other people thought that he was crazy. Me personally, I thought it was cool to watch, and I don't think he's necessarily crazy. Some people don't understand what it means to really be passionate about something or really chase a dream, and that's all that he was doing. I mean, they talked about how much he wanted to climb a skyscraper since he was a kid and how long he'd been dreaming of it. And so it's not like he did this for the clout or the attention, as some people may try to market it or try to stir the pot and say that that's what it was about. But it really wasn't. And I think it was amazing that he tried to do this. And it's really hard to understand it if you're not in his perspective. But obviously, he's put in a lot of time into climbing, and he understands the limits to his body. And we even saw his training. Like I said, like 2 fingers and a brick, just doing pull-ups. Like that's actually insane. And so, I mean, he knew what he was getting into. And the guy did the climb a couple times with the ropes before. And so he knew what it was going to take to get all the way up there. And so I don't think it was crazy that he went and solo climbed it. And I don't think he did it for fame or attention. I really do think that he wanted to do it, and Netflix gave him the opportunity because he had to go through the government and get permission to actually climb it. And so for them to just do all that for him and say, hey, you just got to climb this, we'll give you some money, I think it was a great deal for him. And one thing that people are talking about now is how little money that he was offered, only $500,000 for doing the climb, which I agree. I wish he got paid a little bit more, and I hope that in his contract, maybe he had a clause that said, hey, if we end up getting a lot more revenue out of this than we expected, maybe we'll give you a percentage of that. I think that would have been great. But even if it didn't, again, it goes back to the point where it seems like this is something that he really wanted to do. And so maybe the money wasn't as big of an important factor for him. It was just, oh, I guess I'm going to get paid to do it on the side too, and Netflix is going to give me the opportunity to climb. Like, that sounds like a win-win for me. And you guys got to remember, like, he accepted the offer, so it seems like the money was fine with him. So I don't think we should be giving a whole lot of backlash for that. I mean, like I said, I do wish that they had paid him a little bit more, just because $500,000 for, risking your life is kind of crazy. But again, he agreed to it, and this is something that he wanted to do. So all this to say that I'm really happy for Alex. Again, I don't know the guy personally, obviously, but I think that this is such a great feat for anybody to accomplish. Like, if my friend did this, I'd definitely be jumping up and down for them and saying, like, hey, maybe you should take me to rock climbing sometime. But I'm still proud of the guy, and I hope that he continues to accomplish many more things in his life. I know they said he was a father now, so maybe he might not be as aggressive in some of his pursuits, but I still hope that he gets to keep achieving, and I think this was great. Thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and have a great rest of your day.